Hello guys, I'm back from another video on the about what if Belle had a symbiote. So, in the last video, we talked about how Null came to the Demontiverse after being defeated in the Darkest Day, comics, where after, being defeated by Venom, Doctor throw him into like a portal, bringing him to the Demontiverse. When he did go there, he sort of transformed back, like he would transform into a regular old symbiote, but much more stronger than the average symbiote. So then we moved to a different perspective, which was Bell, and his entire village was literally slaughtered. Not really slaughtered, but about to be, sold off, mostly to the citizens, to the entertainment district. But, his father would save everybody. Not really father, more like grandfather. But his grandfather would sacrifice himself. But for Bell was beaten to the pulp. But he unfortunately didn't die. But when Null saw this, he decides to make Bell his, host. And they perfectly synced up with each other, making them a perfect, host and, symbiote, I don't know, thing or whatever. So, after Bell was told on what Null is, or what Null really is, he decides to go lead the village to now go to Arario to become a, adventurer. So, after trying out his brand new powers, like for example, creating gigantic ass claws, and after that, he decides to go to sleep because the next day, he's probably gonna go to Arario. And so, that was basically the end of the episode. And so, let's talk about what happens next. And also, it turns out that all of you decide to go for, I already told you guys yesterday that whatever, unfamiliar that, Bell should be, I already posted a poll on that. And apparently, all of you guys decided to go for... All of you guys decided to go for Hestia's Familia, which I guess, but it's kind of too, simple, I guess. But still. So, I guess Belle, in this What If, is going to be teaming up with the Hestia Familia. So, let's go back to the actual story. So, after Belle wakes up from his nap, he decides to start making breakfast. As for Null would start packing all of his things, with the help of Belle. After packing all of his things, they started going back onto, the little, I don't know really what to call it. Cart? Yeah, cart. And the horse would start moving as they started leaving the campsite. So, after a while of, on the road, they hear about something. Apparently, they saw in the nearby trees that there were some claw marks. As Belle would say this, "Hey Null, I think we should prepare. There's probably some monsters nearby." As Null would say this, "Seriously, these monsters are nothing more than animals. Compared to my monsters from my world, they're nothing more than child's play." As they hear something in the distance. Because of their enhanced senses, thanks to Null basically hopping through host to host, mostly monsters, at the time, Bell has enhanced senses as he starts moving and sees several monsters appear out of the woods. Some of these monsters seem to be more goblinish, as one of them starts charging towards him, as Bell would bring out some claws and start slashing at them. The rest of the goblins would be confused but also scared as they started charging towards him again, but this time in unison. He would kick them away as, he would bring out another claw, as this claw would just slash at them. As he would say this, is there another way to make, as he says this, what do you mean? As he says this, I don't know, maybe make my arm into a sword or something, or do we have a sword? As he says this, I know. as he says this. Think of a sword, my old sword. Just, just go into my memories, and you will see a dark red sword, a sword made from my malice. As he goes into his memories, seeing all black, the sword that Null wields, as it starts manifesting to his hand, as he says this, "Whoa, this sword looks awesome." As he would say this, "Now, use it." As Bell would charge forward, stabbing into the, monster, as the monster would basically turn into dust, getting his core. But because I apparently learned this after watching a bit of like Damachi videos. Apparently Lily, I think that's her name, the wolf girl, or am I wrong? But you can just tell me in the comments. So apparently Lily's gloves are apparently for getting the monster cores from the monsters. Apparently if you get the monster cores, it would make the monster disappear. But if they don't, get removed, they're still going to be there. So, after Bell gets this monster core from that goblin's chest, it basically disappears, and the rest start running away. After seeing all of these monster cores, Bell would say this, "I think I should pick these up." As Null would say this, "What do you mean?" As he says this, these monster cores are actually pretty, useful. You can exchange it for, wait for a second. You can exchange it for Valis, and apparently it's not called Dallas. It's not called Dallas, it's Valis. I've been calling it Dallas for so long that when I searched up the actual name on like Google, apparently it's Valis, not Dallas. So just shout at me in the comments. Apparently it's called Valis. Just search it up on the wiki. It's called Valis. So anyway, so after he said that, Null would say this. "So your currency is paid with that thing?" As he says this, "Yes, unless if you're if you're taking another job, it's pretty much useless to you. So, because I want to become an adventurer, I should probably keep these." As he says this, "Smart choice." As they started going back on their horse, as they started leaving, as Bell would say this, "So, I saw in one of your memories that you were fighting this black dude." As he says this, "Oh yeah, my child. The one that I even created decided to betray me, just like the rest of my so-called children." As he says this, "Your children?" So that means you, as he says this, "Yes, I created those creatures. They're called Clintar. Apparently, or at least one of my creatures decided to rebel against me and trap me in that miserable planet of a prison. And when I got defeated by Eddie Brook, I was thrown into this universe, this world." As he says this, okay, anyway, let's talk about something else. As he says this, "Fine then." As Bell would say this, "So, tell me, is there any other heroes in that world? I've seen a lot of heroes, but never anything like yours in your memories." As he says this, "Oh yeah, there was this one superhero in particular. His name is Peter something. He was the first one that ever used one of my symbiotes in a long, long time. He was a reckless little boy, but still pretty powerful. So, mind telling me, what do you want to do after you become a adventurer?" As he says this, I want to be a hero, I guess. I mean, this is a stupid dream, but still. as he says this. You want to become a hero, an adventurer as well? I'll gladly help you with that endeavor. After all, I am connected to you now. As he says this, thanks, I guess. Anyway, but this is like a little break first. Before I like continue the story, tell me, which girl should I ship him with? Because I'm completely confused on which ship should I like pick with him. Like, for eyes or somebody else. Anyway, let's go back to the story. So, after a while of going through the forest, he would arrive at a little tavern. This tavern is actually nearby a little city, and then after that, they made it to like, Arario, but for now they're in the, tavern because they need to get some food. So, when he gets in, he's just wearing a cloak, by the way. Everybody would just start looking at him. As one of them, or one person, says this. So who's that guy? As one of them would say this. Don't know. As one guy, which he was a part of a familia, says this. Maybe I should go talk to him. I mean, he might be interesting, but he probably has a secret power or something. And maybe he doesn't have a familia yet, so maybe we can, I don't know, maybe, wait for a second. I don't know, make him join our familia? As he says this, well, go try, I guess. As, well, Bell sits down, as he would ask for some, well, food. As he was given some ale and some other type of, like, any type of, like, necessities. Necessities. As he pays in, like, the little Dallas that he, or I meant, Valis, Valis, that he has on hand. As when that man approaches him, he says this, Hey, kid, are you perhaps from a familia or something? As he says this, Sorry, but I'm planning to go somewhere else. Because, well, Bell has been, well, staying with, well, wait for a second, god dang. Staying with Null for a while now, he kind of acted a little bit like Null. But not the evil part, more like the mature part. As he would say this, Oh, you're not from a familia yet. Heh, why not join our familia? Besides, we're the strongest in the region. As he says this, I'm sorry, but I prefer to just go somewhere else. And besides, I'm going to Arario, so... As he says this, Oh, come on. Besides, that place is filled with junkies and assholes. Besides, nobody would ever let you join theirs. And maybe if you join ours, we'll become stronger. I can definitely tell that you have some potential. As he says this, I told you to just leave me alone. As he says this, oh come on, as he just punches him, more like playfully punches him in the shoulder. As some of the people there are kind of afraid what he's gonna do, because he's pretty well known in these parts. Apparently he's kind of a troublemaker, and because Bell is connected to the God of Darkness himself, Null, let's just say he's not happy about that. So, Bell would stand up. After eating his, well, not really after, more like, when he did, like, punch him in the shoulder, it basically make his food fell down. Basically, when he was, like, getting ready to eat, well, his food and his spoon basically fall to the ground, to the floor. As when they did that, or at least him, well, let's just say Bell is kind of pissed off. Because his cooking, I mean, it's not really good or bad, but it's decent. But he wanted to have a good meal. But that guy ruined it. So, Bell stands up and comes towards him. As he says this, Whoa, kid, hey, are you trying to, like, fight me? Besides, I think you're kind of weak. As he says this, You think I'm weak? As he summons all black. As everybody sees this, they say this. Whoa, 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 please don't fight here. As the guy says, Where did you get that sword? As he slashes at him, causing him to have a large scar, as his mates over there to say this, "Hey, what did you do that for?" As he says this, "I just wanted to have some peace and quiet, but now I guess you ruined it. I'll be leaving." As he leaves, as everybody was kind of afraid that he was about to attack them as well. And let's just say that guy and also the tavern keep, let's just say, yeah, they're definitely gonna have a fight. Anyway, so after Bell did that, he starts going to the large city that's not Arario yet. He's not in Arario yet, by the way. So when he gets to that place, he sees that there's several people that are currently living in poverty, especially those that are from other familias, which is surprising to him. Wait for a second. So, when he goes into a nearby, well, tavern again, this time he needs to get some rest. He goes into the tavern as he asks for a room. When he did get to his room, he sees a few people are in the room where he was supposed to stay in. As one of the members, which, well, Bell realizes, which were the guys that, which is the familiar members that basically, killed his grandfather and also trying to enslave almost all of his, village. As the guy would say this, "I think you got the wrong room, kid. Maybe go somewhere else." As Bell would see him as he say this, "Oh, I think I found the correct room, sir." As he would start going downstairs and tells, well, the guy about that. As he would say this, "Oh, sorry about that. Maybe I should, tell them to leave." As he would say this, "Oh no, let me do it." As Bell would smile sadistically, giving off that, that null smile right over there. As the guy would say this, okay." He kind of looks afraid because Bell's eyes, he's currently wearing a cloak by the way, as his eyes are completely darkened, but he can see a faint glow, a glow of crimson red. As I'm really sorry for the noise in the background. It's probably my fan and also my neighbors right there. So anyway, so Bell goes up the stairs as he sees them, well, still rowdy and being annoying. As one of them would say this, "Hey kid, this is supposed to be our room, so get out." As Bell would say this, "Sorry, but did you seriously forgotten about me?" As he summons out All Black as his arm transforms into a large claw. As one of them would say this, "The hell?" As he slices off the head of that guy. As the leader, or should I, what is his name? The captain of Familia would start charging at him with his sword. As he says this, "Go die." As his arm would start transforming into a mouth of a dragon, or at least some sort of creature that has more of a reptile type shape. As it chomps on his arms, ripping them off. As he would start screaming in pain, as when the tavern keep and also the other peoples hear that, let's just say they were ready for a fight. And they think it's probably somebody else that's fighting them. They also know that it's there. They know that that familia, specifically the familia that basically tried to enslave Bell's, village, is pretty powerful. And after hearing their screams, were concerning. So, after Bell literally kills the rest of them except for one, being the captain of that familia, he would say this, "Who the hell are you?" As Bell would take off his cloak. As his face, half of his face is being covered by, Null. As he would say this with Null, "We are null. As his arm would start transforming into a spear-like object and basically stab into his heart, killing him. After he did that, he starts going into his room and throwing the bodies off to a window, and that window reaches to, or at least is connected to a dumpster. So he did that. So after that, he decides to go take a nap in his well room. The next day comes as when the tavern keep and also the rest of the people that heard that little incident last night, when they saw Belle, they were terrified on what happened. As one of them would naively ask, "Hey, did you know what happened to the familiar that literally tried to kill Belle and also trying to enslave his village familiar?" Basically saying that as he says this, "Oh, that familiar, they won't be bothering you anymore. Let's just say they're gone." As he starts leaving, as he would bump into a person. This person seems to be a god. As he says this, "Have you seen my captain? And have you seen my..." As he says this, "Oh, let me help you with that." As he brings them to the place where he dumped the bodies of those people, the god or goddess, or whatever you want to call him, actually, let's just say it's a god. After the god sees this, seeing his, familiar basically slaughtered, he says this, "Why did you do that?" As he says this, "Oh, you know why." As he starts creating his sharp, metallic, fleshy claws. As he says this, "Because your familia tried to kill and enslave my village. My grandfather sacrificed himself to save the others. And you dare call me a monster?" As he grabs him by the neck and says this, "Pitiful god." As Null would come out of his shoulder as he says this, "May I have the honors?" As he says this, "Very well, Null." As Null would chomp on his head, basically killing the god as a beam of light would appear. As Null would say this, "Ugh, light. What the hell was that?" As he says this, when gods die, they basically turn into a flash of light. They turn into that. Basically going back to the world of, wait for a second, going back to heaven. As he would say this, "So he gone back to heaven. I hope he gone back to hell instead. I think that is where he deserves to be. Besides, his familiar should be safe as well." As he would say this, probably not. He's probably they're probably gonna be, reincarnated or something. As he says this, "Explain." As Bell would explain to Null on how when people die here in this world, they basically get reincarnated. As Null would say this, "Interesting. But either way, let us leave. Maybe some people might notice that a god might have died, especially your gods." So, after they left that little area, or should I say, village, they started going to Orario, straight to Orario, by the way, because in the next episode, they're going to go to Orario, but for now, let's go to a different perspective. So, we go into a different perspective. The Council of Gods, or whatever it's called, are basically in a meeting. Uranus, or whatever you want to call him, basically tells all of them that a god has been killed by another god. But everybody doesn't know, like, some of them would start accusing each other, thinking that it's their fault. But Oranos would say this: "Sorry, but I don't know who's this god or what his business is, but whoever he did, or whatever he or she did, that, well, let's just say, I don't really have a name for that god, but let's just call him that god. That god was killed. Apparently, this god seemed to be made from darkness itself, and I don't know any god like that before." As one of them, being Loki, would say this: "So we have a brand new god here. Heh. So, then who's that brand new god?" As Freya would say this: "How interesting. Maybe he might make a good, well, ally, maybe." As Uranus would say this: "Well, whoever he or she is, he definitely doesn't like that god. Apparently, he told me that after his family was slaughtered by this god, he killed them with a black and red sword." As they started looking towards Hephaestus, as Hephaestus would say this: "I didn't make a sword like that before, but whatever that sword is made of, well, I definitely don't know what it is." As one of them would say this: "I wonder." As he starts looking through the world, as he says this: "Huh?" As he kind of looks annoyed, as everybody was confused, as he says this: "It seems that a god from another world has appeared." As everybody just said this: "What did you say?" As he says this: "Did I stutter?" "Apparently another god from another universe has came to our world." As everybody would just say this: "That's impossible. I never heard of a god from another universe before." As he says this: "Well, I've been keeping this for so long. It's because I don't want any of you summoning any other gods from other universes. In this case, it seems that another god from a universe that seemed to have, let's just say, weird physics and ideals have appeared. I don't know why, but let's just say he's gonna be staying here from now on. And if you ever meet him, try and show him the ropes." As all of them would say this: "Sure, whatever." As Apollo would say this: "Heh, whatever. Let's start leaving. I'm kind of bored anyway." As all of them leave, as Uranus would say this: "Ugh, I definitely need to talk to this brand new god, or whatever he or she is." So, this is going to be the end of the episode, but before you leave, I want all of you in the comments to pick a ship for, well, Belle, because I don't even have any ideas for the ships yet. So, yeah. So, I hope you liked the video, comment, and subscribe, and hope to see you guys next time. Bye-bye!